Okay, so yesterday we have seen those basic things like document.getElement by ID and all those things, and we have seen it in console. We have executed them in browser console. Okay, but how do we execute those programming commands with the Selenium? Okay, for that one, Selenium is providing something called JavaScript Executor. Get my pen. Okay, for that one, we have JavaScript Executor functionality. Okay, so what is a JavaScript Executor? JavaScript Executor is used to execute JavaScript functionality in Selenium. So how do we use the JavaScript Executor? Basically, we have to create an object for JavaScript Executor. How do we create an object? For that, we use JavaScript, okay, Executor, JavaScript Executor, JS some object, okay, JS equals to, in brackets we use, okay, JavaScript Executor and then driver. Okay, this is how we create an object for JavaScript Executor. Okay, JavaScript Executor JS is equal to JavaScript Executor of driver. Okay, but generally, how do we create an object for a class? Generally, for example, some test class is there. Okay, test TS is equal to, we use new keyword, right? New TS. This is how we create.
Yes.
Okay, but in case of JavaScript Executor, we create it like JavaScript Executor JS is equal to, in brackets, JavaScript Executor driver. Why do we do it like this? The question can be in an interview. Okay, so when you create a class, generally we use the new keyword. Sorry, when we create an object, generally we create it using the new keyword, right? But why do we create it like, why do we put it in brackets and then like driver? Okay, why do we do it like that? Okay, because here if you see, okay, this particular part, okay, here we are here you can see that this JavaScript executor, we are casting this one to the driver object. Driver is already an object, so what we are doing, we are casting it. Okay, we have seen the casting earlier. For example, if you want to convert a primitive data type from one primitive data type variable from one data type to another data type, we have used casting, right? So how did we use that one, that casting? For example, if you have a boolean, if you have an integer value, okay, integer sum I is equal to 10, and if you want to define a boolean value, some boolean b is equal to, if you want to assign this I value to this one, okay, how do we do this one? First we convert this one to boolean, right? This is how we have done the casting. Okay, similarly we are casting this driver object to this JavaScript executor. Okay, why do we do this one? Okay, why do we do this one? Let me open, just give me 1 second. Okay, so if you remember, like, this is what we have seen earlier. Okay, we have this main interface, which is search context interface. From this one, other interfaces like WebDriver and WebElement are developed, right? And from this WebDriver interface, this remote driver class is developed. Okay, this remote driver class is developed, and from this one, all these classes like Edge driver, Internet Explorer driver, Firefox driver, and Chrome driver are developed. Now, when we are creating an object, how we are creating an object? We are creating an object of these classes like Firefox driver, Chrome driver, etc. Just give me 1 second. No, sorry. Okay. You guys are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, okay. So we have the search context interface, and then we have the WebDriver interface. And from this, we have this remote driver class is developed. And from this, again, these individual classes are developed like from Chrome driver, Firefox driver. Now, when we are creating an object, like how we are creating it, we are creating it like WebDriver driver equals to new Chrome driver. This is how we are creating, right? This is how we are creating. Okay, that means we are using this, we are creating an object for this class like Chrome driver, Firefox driver, and they are of the type WebDriver. Okay, so whatever the methods that are declared in the WebDriver and also that are implemented in remote driver, they can be used by these objects. But if you see this JavaScript executor, okay, this is in parallel to this WebDriver interface. Okay, this is the JavaScript executor, and we have this JavaScript executor in parallel to this WebDriver interface. So you cannot directly use the methods of this JavaScript executor interface. Okay, and this JavaScript executor, if you want to create an object for this JavaScript executor, you have to cast this one, because if you see this remote driver is again implementing this JavaScript executor. But when we created an object, we created an object for this WebDriver interface. Okay, so you cannot directly use the methods of this JavaScript executor. So we are casting this Chrome driver or Firefox driver, this driver object, to this JavaScript executor interface so that we can use the methods of this JavaScript executor. That's why we are creating it like JavaScript executor JS is equal to, in brackets, we are casting, we are casting this driver object to this JavaScript executor. You guys understand this one, the concept behind this, why we create an object like this instead of this one? Okay, because
Not. Yes.
yeah, because if you see this one, see, this is the WebDriver interface, and all there are like some other interfaces like JavaScript executors, take screenshot, and all these things. Okay, and we have a class remote WebDriver that implements all these interfaces. Okay, and from this class, again, child classes like Chrome driver, Firefox driver, and all these classes are developed. Now, when you create an object for this Chrome driver, okay, so far we are creating it like WebDriver driver equals to new Chrome driver. That means we are creating an object of this class, but this is of the type WebDriver. Okay, so what methods this Chrome driver object or Firefox driver object can use? Whatever the methods that are declared in this interface, and also whatever the methods that are implemented by this remote WebDriver, they all can be used by this Chrome driver or Firefox driver, because this is a child class of this one. And again, this remote WebDriver interface is implementing this WebDriver interface, and moreover, we are creating an object for this class which is of the type WebDriver. Okay, so it can use only the methods that are defined by WebDriver and also implemented by remote WebDriver class. It cannot use the methods declared by any of these other interfaces. Okay, because we are creating an object of this type only, WebDriver only. You understand? Do you guys understand this one?
Yes, sir. Now got it.
Okay, now, but we would like to create an object for this JavaScript executor, because we want to use the methods of this JavaScript executor by this Chrome driver or Firefox driver object. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to cast the object that we have created to this interface. And how do we do the casting? We will do it in, we will put it in brackets basically and use this one. For example, if you create an object for the remote WebDriver class and not for the WebDriver interface, you can do that one. Okay, we can if you based on this diagram, since Chrome driver is a child class of this remote web driver, okay, we can also write it like, okay, remote, okay, web driver equals to new Chrome driver. You can do this also. Okay, you can do this also. And if you do this one, then you can directly use this method. You don't need to create it, like you don't need to do this particular step. Okay, you can directly use driver dot whatever the methods that are defined by these other interfaces. But here, okay, we are not doing, or you can, if you create it like, Chrome driver object directly, like Chrome driver, okay, Chrome driver equals to, okay, new Chrome driver. If you define it like this, then also you can use these methods, all these methods, because these are nothing but child classes of this remote web driver class, and this remote web driver class is implementing all these interfaces. So you don't need to do it here like, JavaScript executor JS is equal to in brackets JavaScript executor and then driver. You don't need to do that. If you create an object for this remote web driver class or Chrome driver class directly. Okay, but here, since we are creating an object for this Chrome driver which is of the type web driver, we can use only those methods that are defined by web driver and also remote web driver, and we cannot use any of these other interface methods. That is why if you want to use other interface methods, you have to cast this driver object with this interface name. That is why we are using it, we are doing it JavaScript executor JS is equal to JavaScript executor of driver. Okay, now using this object, like we can access all the methods of this JavaScript executor. Okay, okay. So now let us go into here. Okay, we'll do a simple example now. Okay, so I'm creating a new class which I will say JS executor 1 public static void main. Okay, now let us copy first couple of lines. And let me import, add this throws declaration. Okay, okay. So we have set up this path, and then we have created a Chrome driver object, and we are maximizing this one, and we are opening this localhost slash Selenium on this one. Okay, after we open this one, we would like to show an alert, some alert. Okay, we can do that like using JavaScript executor. So first, what I have to do, I have to create an object for this JavaScript executor. Okay, so JavaScript executor JS equals to, okay, in brackets we have to put JavaScript executor. We have to cache this one to driver object. Okay, let us import this JavaScript executor. Import JavaScript executor. Okay, now if you see, we have the JavaScript executor, and if you put equal, then we have like multiple methods, and this is the method we use, execute script. Okay, JavaScript executor execute script, and we have this script string. So this string is nothing but a string script we have. Okay, this string is nothing but, it is the script that we use. This is the JavaScript code that we have to write. And args is nothing but argument which we can pass to this string, but this is optional. Okay, we will see like how to pass this argument also. So for showing an alert, okay, we have something called alert functionality. Let me show it to you first on this web page. Okay, so let us say, okay, so okay, so we have something called alert of, okay, let us say hello. I'm just saying alert of hello. See, it is saying hello. Okay, so we can show an alert using this alert functionality in JavaScript. Okay, so let us use the same thing here. Okay, so here what I will say is I'll just write the same functionality in double quotes. Okay, alert of, in single quotes I'm writing hello. Okay, so this is the JavaScript code and I'm executing it with the method execute script. Okay, with this object JS. Okay, now I'm just waiting for thread dot sleep of, like, 2 seconds I'm waiting. Okay, and then once this alert is present, how do I dismiss that alert? Anyone?
Using dismiss method.
Yeah, but we have to switch to it first, right? Driver
Yeah,
dot switch
yeah.
to that alert dot dismiss. Okay. Okay. So let me run this one. Run as JavaScript application. Sorry, Java application. Click on OK. Okay. So printed that alert and then it dismissed that. Okay, so do you understand, like, the basic way of, like, creating a JavaScript object and how to use the JavaScript object method, which JavaScript executor object method, which is execute script, are doing. This is the basic example. Okay, any questions so far on this one?
Yes, well, basically, this JavaScript, what you have executed, alert you have created that alert first, and that you have dismissed it, right? What
Yes,
I
yes,
could get.
yeah, yeah.
It was not
So,
in the web page. We have
no, it's
created that alert to JavaScript.
exactly, exactly. Okay,
Okay,
so
got it.
this is the page like that we have opened initially, and once the page is open, we are creating an alert. You can practice that one, like, in the what is that, in your console. Okay, just use
Okay.
this alert, and it will show you this one. Okay, I just showed you this one, right? So, for
Yeah.
example, alert. Okay, I'm just saying like alert. Okay, there are multiple functionalities within this JavaScript. Okay, alert. Okay, Selenium. Alert Selenium. Okay, and if I enter, see, it shows an alert here. So this one we are creating it one. It is not on the web page. And then once it is created, we are just waiting for 2 seconds and we are dismissing this one. Okay, this is a basic example of how we use JavaScript executor. First, we create an object for the JavaScript executor by casting this JavaScript executor to the driver object. Okay, once that is done, then we use the execute script method.
So in the real time, like what is the purpose of creating that alert by our own and
No, no, no.
just
We
like
don't. We won't create it like in real time. We will never create
okay,
it using Selenium. Just to show you an example of how to use this execute script, I showed you this one. I just created an alert.
okay. So we will
Okay.
not be using as a tester, we will not be using this functionality, I think.
And this alert functionality, we won't be using it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now let us see a real-time example. Okay. The real-time one is, for example, let me say just. mm, 1 second. Sorry. Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. Okay. Let me show you something, some example. Okay. So if you see this same page, okay, in this one, if you see, we have this element, right? Let us say we have this text area element. Okay, this text area element, once you open this web page, this text area element is somewhere in the at the down. Okay, somewhere at the down. Okay, just give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Sorry guys. Okay, so if you see this one on this page, we have this text area somewhere like at the down at the bottom of the page. Okay, and sometimes what happens is like if that particular element is not visible here. Okay, when it is not visible, sometimes Selenium may throw an error saying that element not interactable or element not found. Those kind of exceptions you will see. In those cases, what you have to do is you have to scroll this one to get this element into this visibility area. You understand here what I'm saying? Okay, see here, sometimes the elements might be somewhere at the bottom. Okay, and you may not be able to Selenium may not work in those cases because it cannot see that element. Okay, so in those cases what you may have to do is you have to scroll this one to see this particular element. Okay, so this scrolling you have to do it with the JavaScript executor. Okay, this is most of the cases like we use JavaScript executor for scrolling.
So even if we are providing that XPath also, then also Selenium will not be able to identify.
Yeah, because it cannot see that one. It cannot see that element. Of course, the element is there. It knows that okay, that element is there, but it cannot see that element. It cannot enter the value into that one. Okay.
So like whatever the thing that is visible in the particular size, that all the things only that Selenium will able to apply the XPath. Is it like so?
Most of the times it will scroll this one by itself and it will enter the values, but sometimes it won't do that. Okay, it will simply say
Okay.
that
Okay.
the element is not it will give some particular exception. In this case, if you do it, it will scroll it and it will enter the value, but sometimes it won't
Okay.
scroll. Okay, in those
Okay.
cases you have to use JavaScript executor. Okay, so
Okay.
let us see how to do that one. Okay, so let me go and find this one. Okay, find this element. Okay, inspect. Okay, let me write an XPath for this one. This is a text area. ID is equal to description. Control C, Control F. Text area. ID is equal to description. Okay, now I got this one. Okay, so let me modify this one. I have created like an object for this JavaScript executor. Okay, so if you see JavaScript dot execute script of, we have this let me open. Okay, we have the script that we have to provide and the arguments. Okay, first let me write this web element. Okay, web element some element equals to driver dot find element by dot xpath. Okay, let me copy this one. Okay, Mm, let's say this is text area. Okay, and let me import this one. Okay, so I have imported this one. Okay, so we have to write the script here in this null place. The first one is always the script, right? We have to write the script here. Okay, and then we have to pass this web element as an argument to this script, and we will execute this script. Okay, so we have something called scroll into view. Scroll into view in JavaScript. Okay, you just have to remember that one. For example, I have this one, right? Let me put it here. Okay, so scroll into view. Okay, we don't have this one here. Scroll. Okay, we don't have this one. Oh, sorry, we have to first find this element. Okay, so what is the ID of this element? We have this ID is description. Okay, let me let me get this ID. So how do we find this element first? We'll use document dot Okay, document dot get element by id, right? Get element by id. This id is this one, document dot get element by id. Okay, once this is done, get element by id of description. Okay, so we are getting this one. Okay, once we get this one, then um, document dot get element by id of description. Okay, dot. Okay, we're not seeing this one here. Okay, but let me show it to you here itself. Here, like, okay, in this one we have something called arguments. Okay, arguments, arguments of 0. Okay, dot scroll. Okay, scroll, scroll into view. Okay, we have this function. Okay, so this is the function. So what is this argument of 0? This argument of 0 is nothing but this element, text element. So let us give this text area here, text area. Okay, so what we are doing, we are bringing this text area into view. Okay, we have js.execute script, and then we have this arguments of 0 dot scroll into view. This argument of 0 is nothing but the argument that we are passing, which is nothing but this text area. Okay, so now just use js dot, just I'm just like, putting some time here, thread dot sleep of like 2 seconds I'm using. Okay, and then now I can use driver dot find element by dot xpath. Okay, and the xpath is this one. Okay, the first I'm clearing this one. Okay, and then I'm entering some value. Okay, so what it has to do, first it has to open the page and it has to scroll the text area into view. Okay, and then it has to clear that one and it has to enter the value. Let's run this one, run as JavaScript application. Okay, it opened the page. See, it scrolled this one. It scrolled this one into view, and then it entered this the value. Cleared that original value, and it entered the value. Okay, so you just have to remember this one. Like, first JavaScript that executor. Okay, and then we use the JavaScript function scroll into view. Okay, and the argument that we pass. Okay, that argument is nothing but the web element. Okay, arguments of 0 dot scroll into view, comma text area. So this text area is nothing but element we have created here. Okay, so let's say this is element instead of text area. Let's say we have, this is element, we will pass this element. Okay, so this arguments of 0 is nothing but this element, so it uses element dot scroll into view. Okay, so it brings that element into view. Okay, so this is how we use JavaScript executor. It's mainly used for scrolling. Okay, there are also like some other functionality. Okay, which we will see. Okay, so the first one is like, we brought this element into view. Okay, let's try it with a different site. Okay, so let me say google.com. Okay, in the google.com, what site, like, we can search, which site, like, can you guess, let's say www dot, okay, youtube.com. Okay, in youtube.com we have, like, multiple things. Okay, not YouTube actually, like, instead of YouTube, what other site we can use?
BBC.com.
Sorry, ABC,
BBC.com.
bbc.com. Okay, let's see, like, if we can say. Okay, so we have bbc.com is there, right? Okay, but it is taking some time to load actually. Okay, okay, it is done. Okay, now let us say, like, let us use this one, editor pix is there, right? Okay, let us identify this element editor picks. Okay, so if you see, like it is showing editor picks here, and if you see, like we have editor picks here. Okay, let us identify this using by text. Okay, so let's say Control F, two forward slashes. What is the tag name for this one? The tag name is span. Okay, so span. Okay, contains. Okay, contains text, comma. Okay, okay, so we have to use a backslash here. Okay, so contains, sorry, this one should be contains span, contains text, comma, editor speaks. Okay, this is not working. Let us say editor. Okay, so it is, we are able to identify this one. Okay, editors. Okay, we are able to identify this by using this word editor. Okay, so let us use this one and scroll it down. Okay, so let me use the same thing. Let me copy this JS executor script, JS executor script too. Okay, and let us copy this bbc.com. Okay, and then I'm opening bbc.com. Okay, I'm opening bbc.com. Okay, once this is done, I'm just waiting for this one, and I'm creating a new JavaScript executor, and the element that we are finding is this editor speaks. Okay, this editor speaks. Okay, so this is my element. Okay, and now I'm using js.execute script of arguments of 0 dot scroll into view, and this element I am passing, and I am scrolling that one. Okay, and let us comment this one because this is only for text area, the previous example. Okay, so we are scrolling that editor speaks into view. Okay, let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, so it is loading. Okay, see, it brought this editor pics into view. Okay, you got this one? Are any questions? How to scroll this one?
It
Any
is clear,
question?
Sudhir.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now we have seen, like how to bring a particular element into view. But let us say we want to um, get to the bottom of the page. That means you have to scroll down to the bottom of the page like this. How do you do that one? Again, like this is same as this one. Okay. But we'll use, like another JavaScript functionality. Okay, so that one is, let me say, let me copy the same thing. Okay, so JavaScript executor 3. Okay, we have opened this one, and we have JavaScript executor of this one. We have to we don't need to pass an element here because we just want to simply get to the bottom of the page. Okay, so we don't need this one, and also we don't need the second, anyhow, like this is an optional element, the second element. So we have to pass an element, the functionality, JavaScript functionality, directly here. Okay, we have something called windows dot scroll to 0 comma the height of the page. Okay, let me show it to you here. Okay, we have this bbc.com here, right? So let me come to the top. Okay, and then let me go to the console. So let me close this one, not this one. So we have already, okay. So we are somewhere, like here. Let me go to the console. Okay, in the console, we have a JavaScript function called window dot scroll, window dot scroll to functionality. Okay, window dot scroll to functionality is there. In the scroll to functionality, we have to pass the coordinates. For example, if you have something like 0, okay, 0 comma let us say 300 I am passing. Okay, so it will window dot scroll to 0 comma 300. Okay, so I mean, we can specify the number of pixels here. Okay, window dot. So sorry, this is for we have to use the functionality window dot scroll by. Yeah, scroll by functionality is there. If you want to specify the pixels, the number of pixels it has to move, then we use window dot scroll by, and you can pass the number of pixels. For example, I would like to move my scroll bar from 0th position, 0th pixel to 1000. Okay, 0th pixel to 1000. Then if you see, like, it is moving this one. Or if you pass it like, something like 0 to 0 to 3000. Okay, see, it is moving your cursor. Sorry, it is scrolling down up to 3000 pixels. Okay, so like this, you can use scroll by functionality to move your scroll bar to a particular position. But if you want to move it to the bottom of the page, okay, let's execute this one itself, windows dot scroll by. Okay, so if you want to move your scroll bar to a particular position, then you can use windows dot scroll by and use 0 comma, let's say 3000 pixels I would like to move. Okay, so it opens the web page and it waits for 1 second. It creates a JavaScript object and it moves the scroll bar by 3000 pixels. Okay, run as JavaScript application. Okay, to open this web page, it is still loading. Okay, now it waits for 1 second and something went wrong. Windows dot scroll scroll. Let me see like what we have used here. Sorry, it is window dot scroll by, right? Okay, sorry, this is wrong. The window dot scroll by. Okay, we have typed like WINDES here. Okay, it is window dot scroll by 0 comma 3000. Okay, let me run this one more time. Run as Java application. Okay, it opened the page and it is loading. Okay, still it is not giving it give like another error. What is this error? JS.execute script of window dot scroll by. Okay, this is correct, but let us see like what error it is showing. JavaScript executor. Oh, okay, again there is another error. See, we are missing this one. We are missing this bracket here. Okay, this is what we are missing. Let me run it one more time. Run as Java application. Okay, it opened bbc.com. Still, okay. So now it moved this scroll bar. Okay, so for moving the scroll bar to a particular position by some number of pixels, we use windows dot scroll by function. Okay, now how do we move to the bottom of the page? Okay, for moving it to the bottom of the page, we have something called windows dot scroll to function. Okay, let me open this one. Okay, so we have something called window dot scroll to function. Okay, so we have to give the starting position. Let's say the starting position is 0. Okay, from the top to the bottom of the page we want to move. But how do we know what is the bottom of the page? So again, we have something called document dot body dot scroll height. Okay, document dot body dot Okay, scroll height. Okay, so this one will give the height of the height of this page. Okay, what are the page that we are, that we have opened? Okay, this one will give document dot body document dot body dot scroll height will give the height of the page. So it is moving from the top to the height of this page, which is nothing but you will move to the bottom of the page. Okay, now if I execute this one, see it moved to the bottom of the page. Okay, let us say I'm putting it again to the top of the page. Okay, and then I'm saying I'm just executing this functionality again, window dot scroll to 0 comma document dot document dot body dot scroll height. Okay, see it moved to the bottom of the page. So let us execute the same thing. Let me copy this one. Okay, uh, sorry, let me create a new one here. JS executor, script executor 4. Okay, so yeah, let me copy this one. So I'm saying I'm opening this web page and then I am using this one. Okay, so it opens this page, it waits for 1 second and then it moves to the bottom of the page, window dot scroll to, okay, 0 comma document dot body dot scroll height, and then okay, so it moves to the bottom of the page. Let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, it opened the page. See, it moved to the bottom of the page. Okay, so this is how we can use JavaScript executor to move the scroll bar. Okay, let me see if I miss anything in this scrolling functionality. Okay, so we have seen this basic alert functionality and we have seen this JavaScript basics. Okay, and okay, we'll come to this one, reading the values under an auto suggest. We'll come to this one. Printing count of all the values under an auto suggest. We'll see this. Okay, and selecting a value from auto suggest also we'll see. Okay, scrolling down a web page. Okay, so in this one we have seen about so we have seen this how to bring an element into view using arguments of 0 dot scroll into view, and then we have to pass that element here. Okay, so this one we have already seen it, and then okay, how to move the move it to the bottom of the page, document dot body dot scroll height we have seen. Okay, how to move to the top of the page, let us see, like in top. Now we have moved, like, the scroll bar to the bottom of the page. Okay, we are waiting for. Now I would like to move it to the top of the page. What I have to do, I just need to reverse these arguments here. Okay, so since I already, since I am here, like, since I already moved to the bottom of the page, now I'll provide that that as the initial argument because I'm at the bottom, and then I'm moving 0 means 0 pixels, so I'm moving to the top of the page. Okay, so from bottom we are moving to the top of the page. Let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, so first it will move to the bottom of the page, it waits for 2 seconds and then it moves to the top of the page. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, and then yeah, we have, like, we have seen this window dot scroll by function. Okay, to move to a specific number of pixels. Okay, so these are the scrolling functionality that you can use. Okay, now let us see. You have any questions, like, how to scroll a web page, and this one, how to scroll to a to a particular position or to the bottom of the page or anything? Any questions? You just have to remember, like, these are all like JavaScript functions. To move to a particular position, we use Windows dot scroll by. Okay, to move to the bottom of the page, we use Windows dot scroll to 0 comma this is the JavaScript functionality which gives the height of the page. JavaScript document dot body dot scroll height. Okay. Any questions on this one? And for bringing an element into a view, we use arguments of 0 Okay, dot scroll into view, and this argument is nothing but the element that we pass. Okay, any questions on this one for scrolling?
Please.
Okay, fine. Now, sorry.
Like you are providing the X and Y coordinates. Okay, so like
It's not.
if
It's
you
not.
want,
No, no, no. It's not X and Y coordinates. We are not providing the X and Y coordinates here. They're
no,
not.
like in scroll, the previous to previous you have explained, no, that we're providing 0, comma 300 and 1000, 0,
Uh-huh.
comma 1000.
Yeah.
For
It
that,
is. It is.
how would we know?
You
Like,
you can say that they are the Y coordinates. They are not X and Y coordinates. See, the
yeah, Y coordinate.
yeah, the beginning one and the ending one that we are providing.
Yeah. So
Okay.
if you like, how do we get that size of that web page, that what coordinate, what Y value have to put?
It depends on you actually. Like when you are working on the script, okay. If you want to find out at what position, at what y coordinate that particular element is there, right? We cannot
Yes.
directly know it. Maybe there might be a JavaScript functionality to find out that one. Let us see if there is anything like that. But generally what we do is uh, we'll just try it randomly. First, we'll put it some 1,000 pixels and see if that element is coming into view. Okay, and then we
Okay,
change
so
that one.
random, yes.
Yeah, we just do it random. But we don't use this one very frequently. We have never used this one because if we want to bring an element into view, we already
Mhm.
have this one. We already have this functionality. Scroll into view is there, right?
Okay.
Okay, this is just for example purpose. Like I showed you how you can move your scroll bar to a particular position by number of pixels if you want to move it.
Okay.
But generally,
Okay.
see, in Selenium you work on elements only, and if you want to bring an element into view, you'll directly use this function. You won't use that those moving it by number of pixels. You understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah, got it. Got it. It is one
Okay.
of the option, like, yeah.
Yeah, but you still have that one because if you use by number of pixels, you may get issues. But
Yeah.
because though the position might change based on your browser size or the number of it depends on your pixel density.
Okay.
Okay, so it's very rare that we use this one scroll by Windows dot scroll by function and moving it by the number of pixels because
Okay.
it may not work correctly on all the browsers because on one browser it might be showing 1,000 pixels that particular element, but on a different browser it might be 1,200 pixels. Okay, because
Okay.
the pixel density will I mean that one will change basically. Okay, so
Okay.
it's very rare that you use this functionality, but we
Mm.
have another functionality which is moving bringing that particular element into view. So we'll directly go with this one. Okay, or
Okay.
to move to the end of the one, we will go with window dot scroll to.
Okay.
Okay, okay, fine. Now let us see another functionality which is okay, let us say, yeah, let me go to this one. Hmm, sorry. Yeah. So reading the values under a auto suggest. Okay. For example, this Google page, if you enter anything to search, it will it will suggest you those keywords, right? Similarly, let me go into this redbus.com and I will show you how to read the values under the auto suggest. Okay. Let me go to redbus.com, redbus.in. Okay, so if you see this redbus.in, it will ask you for from where to where you want to travel. For example, I'll enter something like BENG, Bangalore. Okay, it will show you all the different options here. Or if you want, if you enter something like HYD Hyderabad, okay, it will show you different options here. Okay, I think now it is showing less number of options, but earlier it used to show at least like 20 options under this one. Okay, let me see, do you guys know anything else here, any other site that gives us let's work with this one only, but I'll show you how to okay. So we have let's say we enter this one, and I would like to read these values. I would like to read these values. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is showing I think more options also. So if you see, we have it how many options we have? Yeah, I think 20 options we got here. Okay. First one is Bangalore, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah. Okay. So 20 options we got. Now, I would like to read out all these values. That means when I enter BENG, okay, it shows all these different values, right? I want to read all these values, but since these are dynamically populated values, okay, sometimes what happens is we may not be able to directly get them using Selenium. In those cases, we use JavaScript. Just remember one thing: whatever you cannot do, whatever you cannot do with Selenium, we go with JavaScript only. Okay, so let's do this one. Let's capture these values. Okay, so first I will open this redbus.in. Okay, let me uh, copy this one and paste it here, JavaScript Executor 5. Okay, so I'll say HTTP. Okay, HTTPS column redbus started. I'm waiting for some 1 second, and then I think let me do this one. First, I have to identify this field, right? So let me inspect this one, and ID is source code, okay, and tag is input. So to forward slashes input to that source, sorry, source ID. Okay, ID equal to source, and it is one of one, and it is able to identify this element. So let me copy this one, and I'll go here. So let's say whatever the parameter, okay, send this up BELG and entry. Okay, once I enter that one, then wait for 1 second. Okay, okay. So now once I enter this one, it will populate a list of all the values. Now I have to read all those values. Okay, so for reading that one, I'm creating a JavaScript executor. Okay, I'm creating a JavaScript executor. Okay, now how do I read these values? Okay, so if you see, okay, it is showing me all the values. Now I use the arrow down button here. That means on the keyboard I'm pressing this arrow down. Once I press this one, see, it is selecting the value Durgapur, and it is showing that value in the input text box. See, here it is showing this value. Now if I press it again, okay, showing me AS Asansol something, okay, and then it is showing Krishna Nagar. So I will use the down arrow button, okay, and once it populates this value here, I will get this value. I will get this value. Okay, so let me go here. Let me take out this one. Okay, so I will use the down arrow button. How do I press the arrow down button? How do I press it? Anyone? What should I use for pressing this arrow down button? I have to use
Key, send keys and keys class.
keys class. I have to use key dot arrow down. Okay, keys dot arrow down I have to use. Okay, so I'm pressing it one time. First we will do it like one time. Okay, so I'm pressing it one time. Now once I press it like one time, okay, once I press it one time, it is populating this value here. Let us get this value, okay, using JavaScript. Okay, how do we get this value using JavaScript? We use driver dot not driver. We have something called document dot get element by ID. Okay, dot value functionality is there. Okay, for example, let me execute. I would like to get this value using JavaScript function. Okay, I'll say document dot get element by id. Okay, by id. And what is the id that we have here? The id is src. Okay, let me enter. So it is getting me this one. Okay, now I'll say dot value. Okay, see, it is getting me the Durgapur, West Bengal. So I can use the same thing. I can use the same thing in my JavaScript executor function. Okay, so I'll say JavaScript executor js dot execute script. Okay, now my functionality is this one, and this is double quotes, and I'll put it in single quotes. Okay, now it gives me executor dot value. Yeah. Okay, it gives me the value here, which is nothing but the value that is there in the text box. But I have to return this value to my Selenium. I have to return that value. Okay, so how do I return that value? Okay, I have to, whenever I want to return by executing the JavaScript, whenever I want to return something, then I have to use return statement. Okay, so this will return something to this one. Now I will capture this one into a string place equals to. Okay, now it is throwing some error. What is that error? It is saying that, okay, cast it to a string. Okay, just click on this one. Okay, and we are casting it to a string. So just remember, whenever we want to return something by executing the JavaScript. Okay, so here this is the JavaScript document.get element by ID of source.value. Okay, we are returning the value from this text box. Okay, we have to use, whenever we are returning something, we have to use return statement. Okay, and we are capturing it into place. Okay, let me print this one, system.out.println place. Okay, let me run this one first and see if it is working correctly. Java application. Okay, it entered the value and then it pressed the arrow down button. So we came to Durgapur. Okay, and then see, we got this value, Durgapur, West Bengal. You understand until this point, or any questions? Everyone?
So yeah,
Okay.
just wanted to know like how we will knowing that what kind of a value it is returning, how will we defining that particular type?
Let's see
What is the
whatever
default value for that?
whatever you mean to say for this one, what value it is returning, what kind of value it is
Yeah,
returning.
yeah, how will I identify that?
I mean, we cannot look, know like what kind of value it is returning, but we know that whatever it returns, it is a string basically.
Okay,
Okay, basically it is a string, right? Whether it is a number or anything. See, whenever you use Selenium, whenever you enter something on a text box or a text area, it is basically a string.
okay,
It is basically a string that you enter. Similarly, whatever you return, it is a string, and we are casting it to a string.
okay.
Okay, so this is basically we get a string basically.
So whatever it returns, it doesn't matter. We will cast it to this string, and we will just capture
Yes,
it on some kind of a variable.
exactly.
Okay, got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So now we got this place, but we are getting only one place here. How many are there? There are like 20 places are there, right? It is, see, in this one, when we say like, beng, it is showing like 20 values. See, Bangalore is the first one, second, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, 20 values are it is showing the suggestions, places suggestions, it is showing 20 values. How do I get like all those 20 values? I have to put it in a loop, right? I have to press this one each time and I have to get the place. So let me put it in a loop. For int I equals to 0, I is less than 20, okay, I plus plus, okay, let me put this one into a loop.
So
Okay,
can you use some dynamic range to define I, because like I don't want to use a hard code thing because it
we
might
will
be.
we'll come to that, Ankur. Okay, we'll come to that slowly,
Okay,
one by one.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
so first let us see this one. Okay, so first I'm using like some value because it is showing like 20 places. Okay, I'm using 20 here. Okay, so let's run this one and see how it prints. Okay, so it entered that value. So it went through like all these things. Okay, so it printed all the values here. Okay, it printed all the values. But what is the problem here? If you see here, it is printing starting from the second value, Durgapur. Okay, that means let us say BNG. Okay, it is printing from the second value, Durgapur. Okay, it is not printing Bangalore here. It is printing from the second value. Okay, and if you the last value is KATWA, and if you see this one, okay, that KATWA value is printing 2 times. Okay, why it is doing like this? Because the first time itself when you click on the arrow down button, I enter this one, the first time itself when you click on the arrow down button, it is going to the second value. Okay, it is going to, and it is thinking that this is the first value, because the first time itself when I is equal to 0, it clicks on arrow down, it clicks on arrow down. So the first value here, it is becoming Durgapur, so it is getting the Durgapur value, and when it comes to the end, a 19th value will become this one, Katwa. But again, when sorry, 18th value will become Katwa, and again 19th time when you click on arrow down, it still stays on this Katwa only. That is why it is printing 2 times here. Okay, so what we have to modify this one, how we have to modify? The first time when we enter this value BENG in this one, okay, the first time when you click on this arrow down button, you have to go one time up, arrow up button, you have to do it, so that it will start from the first value. Okay, let me show you that one. So what I will do is, I'll just simply say if, okay, if the value is I equals to, if the value is 0, if the value is 0, then I will say, so for the first time, just do a arrow up. Okay, for the first time, do an arrow up. Okay, so ENG. Okay, no, after sorry, this one we have to put it after this arrow down. Okay, so what I'm doing here, so I'm entering into this loop and I'm clicking on arrow down. Okay, arrow down. So when I click on this arrow down, when I click on this arrow down, it comes to Durgapur. But see, if it is the first time, do an arrow up, so it starts with Bangalore. Okay, so I'm saying that, okay, click and do it and do an arrow down. But if it is the first time, do an arrow up, so that it goes to Bangalore, and now the results will be correct. Let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, so now it enter this one. Okay, it is very fast actually. Okay, let us see. See this one. Now it printed Bangalore and printed Katwa also. Okay, so we can. I mean, it basically you have to observe the functionality. Okay, and then you have to modify your program accordingly. Okay, okay, so now this is like, okay, for this one I have like 20, since we know that like this is 20 values, we are iterating it like for 20 times. For example, okay, for example, instead of saying like I'll say yeah, Bangalore. I will enter like uh, okay, I'll enter this one. Okay, so what is it printing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20. Okay, my 20 values. Instead of like Bangalore, I'll use like Hyderabad. Like I'll say something like Tirupati. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, everything is coming like 20 only. Let me give like some other thing like no, Martyr. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, okay. So let me enter like I'm entering like a different word, Marteru. Okay. So for this one, if you see, it is giving like only 10 results. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, it is giving only 10 results. It's not 20 results it is giving. So if I do it like with this one, for example, like if I have it like Teru, okay, Materu, and then run as Java application. It is opening this one and it is entering the values here and it is capturing all these values. Okay, so if you see here, see, it printed these values like Marteru, Marturu, something like this. Okay, these values until this 10th value correctly. But again, what is happening after this value is printed? Okay, we don't have a 11th result. So 11th time when it clicks on like this arrow down button, it still says on the same one. So it is printing the last value only for the remaining 10 number of times, because we have used like we have hard coded this one as 20. Okay, if it gives like 20 results, that is fine, but if it won't give like 20 results, okay, then it will give you like a problem here. So how to do it like based on the number of results, like whether it is 20, 100, or like only 10? How do we print it instead of printing these duplicate results? Okay, or like so let us say like if this the suggestion is showing like 50 places, then it shows like only the top 20 places. It prints only the top 20 places. It won't print all the 50 places, right? So that is where one problem is there. So instead of like doing it like this, what we can do, we have to do it like dynamically. But this value is dynamic, like I mean, like we don't know what that value will be. It's a maximum of 20. Here it is showing, but it can be only 2, 3, 4, something like that. We don't know what that number is. So what we can do, we can use an infinite loop here. Okay, and we can check these values. We can check these values to see if these values are same or not, and if these values are same, then we can break out of that loop. Okay, so let me do that one. So here what I'm doing is I am using infinite. How do I use how do I write an infinite loop in for loop? I'll just remove this second one. Okay, so it will go into an infinite loop, or you can use a while loop also. We'll see that one, while loop also. Okay, so now I am using an infinite loop here. Okay, while doing this infinite loop, what I will do is, like, I'll say that okay, first I have to store this value. I have to store, to compare, like, the two values. I have to store this value into some variable, right? So let us say I'm using, like, string last place. Okay, that means the string, I'll say previous place. I'll use previous place is equal to place, because string previous place is equal to place. I'm sure. And I need to, like, in the beginning, like, I have to store some value, some default value. So I'm just, like, putting it, this string play previous place is equal to some empty value, some empty string I'm creating. Okay, and here I'm assigning this place value to this previous place. Okay, now let us, okay, compare this one. Okay, for comparing this one, like, how do we compare it here? So I'll say if okay, previous place. Okay, how do we compare two strings? What is the method that we use? We use equals, right? Equals of place. If previous place equals to this one, then we will say break. Okay, else we'll say previous place is equal to current place. Okay, you understand this logic here? So what we are doing is, we are basically creating an infinite loop. Before that, we have created some previous place value with empty string. Okay, when I value becomes 0, what happens? Okay, it becomes, first it presses the arrow down button, and then it presses, since I value is 0, it presses the arrow up button. So the first value, which is Bangalore, will come into place. Okay, and now we are reading that Bangalore value into the place. Okay, and here, if previous place is equals to place, previous place is empty, and if it is equals to Bangalore, no, so it won't break, it will go into else block, and it makes the previous place as Bangalore, as the current place. Okay, Bangalore. Okay, now it goes back again, and I value becomes 1, so it presses arrow down button, and now here it won't press arrow up button. Okay, because I value is 1. Okay, it presses the arrow down button, and it goes to the second place value. Now the second place value, it gets this one. Okay, now the previous place is still the previous sorry, the previous place is Bangalore now. Okay, and is it equals to the second place? No, it is not. So it will go into else block, and it will assign the second place as the previous place, and it moves on like that. It comes to the end. Okay, now let me run this one. Run a Java application. Okay, so we have entered marked arrow. Okay, see, now it is printing these values instead of printing duplicate values. Okay, now let me enter, like, another one. Okay, since marked arrow, like, we have got, like, only 10 places. Let's enter Bangalore. Okay, BENG. Let me run this one. Run as Java application. Okay, it printed all the 20 values. Okay, and it's not printing any duplicate values or anything like that. Okay, so it might be a little bit confusing here for you guys, like, how I am assigning this one. Just practice this one, and then you'll be clear with this. Okay, any questions on this one? How we are getting? So instead of, like, using a for loop, like, you can also use a while loop. How do you use a while loop? While, you can directly say true, so it will go into an infinite loop. And here again, we have to define a variable here before this. Okay, int I equals to 0. Okay, the initial value is 0. Okay, and then finally here you have to use I plus plus. Every time you have to increment this one. If you use while loop, these are the changes that you have to make. Okay. Any questions on this one? Did you guys understand this program?
Yes, sir. Yes, so it is clear now.
Okay, just practice this one. Okay, we're just like creating a previous place here with some empty string, and every time if the previous place is not equals to the current place, we are replacing the previous place with the current place. Okay, that is how we are deciding this one, whether we have reached to an end or not. Once it reaches to to the end, the previous place always becomes the last place, and the current place is always becomes the last place. That's when this condition is satisfied, and it will come out of the loop. Okay, so this is how we can do this. Okay, okay, now let me see, I think there are a lot of screens open. Let me close all these ones one by one. Okay, I just want to show you one more thing, which is okay. So every time we are running a lot of these scripts, and sometimes we are not closing them, right? Sometimes we are not closing these scripts. I mean, uh, these driver.exe files. We are not using driver.pit. So what happens in the background, if you see, if you go to taskbar, not taskbar, sorry, not taskbar. If you go to task manager, okay, and if you see, let me sort this one. Hmm. See, there will be multiple Chrome driver.exe files running in the backend. Of course, it won't give you any trouble, but it may be some of your these ones will be it may occupy some of your memory. Okay, generally won't give you any trouble. Okay, so you will see all this, see how many chrome driver.exe are running in the background, because we are not closing this, we are not using driver dot close or driver dot pitch. Okay, so it left it in the background. Okay, so you have to close all these driver.exe files if your system gets slowed down. Normally it won't affect your system, that it will be your system is slow. Okay, but you have to close this one. Okay, I'm clicking on each one, and I'm clicking on this end task, but it will take a lot of time. Okay, so you will be having you can use some windows kill command. Okay, so let me check that one. We have something like a Windows kill command. Okay, so how to kill a process in Windows. This is basically Windows command that we have to use task manager, how to kill a command in Windows. Okay, Linux, and let us see there should be a command, yeah, task kill command that we use, and we have to specify the PID or image name. Okay, this is not related to any of this. Okay, so it's not given anywhere here. Okay, yeah, so something is given here. Okay, so so instead of using this PID, oh yeah, so if you see this one, that task kill slash IM slash, we have to give Chrome driver.exe slash F, and it will kill all the open Chrome driver.exe files running in the background. So let me do this one. So not notepad, command prompt. Okay, I'm opening the command prompt, and I am using this one. This is a Windows command basically. Okay, so it's not related to Selenium or Java. Okay, Windows slash -m, and I'll use Chrome driver.exe, okay, /f. Okay, if I run this one, see all these Chrome driver exe files that are running in the background are terminated. Okay, just you can use this test. This is only during your practice sessions this will be useful, but whenever, like, you're in the real time, we always close the browser's driver sessions by using driver.quit, okay, or driver dot close. Okay, so you won't be having that problem in the real time, but during your practice, if you open like a lot of uh, if you run a lot of scripts which where you don't use driver dot close or driver dot quit, then you'll see a lot of chrome driver.exe files running in the background, and you can use this windows command to kill all those open chrome driver.exe files. Okay, okay, fine. Now, okay, let me, okay, so we have seen the reading these values under an auto suggest. We have seen this one. Okay, this is the example, like, see here, like, I'm using like windows.mac image, and I'm deleting the cookies, and I'm opening the red bus, and then I'm also using implicitly wait. Okay, all these things I'm using, and then I'm creating an object here, drivers JavaScript object here, and then I'm reading the values under this one. Okay, and we have, I mean, here, like, I think I have I'm reading, like, only one value here, and then in this one printing the count and the values under an auto suggest. Okay, we are printing, like, all the values. So how do we get the count of this one? So just use an, how do we get the count of this one? Okay, finally we can print this I value, okay, for getting the count. So I'll say, like, something like int count equal to, I'll say 0. Okay, and here what I will do is I'll say uh, count equals to I. Okay, count equals to I. I'll say count equals to, shall I say I or I minus 1? Let us see. Okay, count equals to I. And finally, once this is done, I'll say system dot out dot println. Okay, count is plus count. Okay, so basically I'm making this count value to I, because I value will increment, and finally at one point it will break out. So I can take this I value as count, and initially I'm making this I count value as 0. Okay, so let me run this one, run as Java application. It is still loading. Okay, loading is completed. Okay, it is done. Okay, so it is saying, like, count is 19 because we have used the initial value of I as 0. Okay, so instead of this you can say count is equal to count, so the total value should be count plus 1. This is what you can do for getting the count. Okay, so this is one thing. Let me see. Yeah, so here I have described the same thing. String I have used, like, old value or something. Okay, and then selecting a value from an auto suggest. Okay, so how do you select a particular value from auto suggest? For example, I'm entering something like, okay, you can try this one. Okay, I will leave this one to you. Where is this one? Okay, let me open this one. Redbus.in. Okay, I'm entering Bangalore. Okay, when my value is Krishnanagar, it has to select Krishnanagar and come out. Okay, how do I do that one? How do I do that one? When it becomes like, Krishnanagar, West Bengal. Okay, I have to, okay, let me copy this one, copy this value, and here in this one, okay, let me copy this one and paste it.
Equals to, I think I will be assigning that value and comparing it. and
Yeah, and
using
then
the if statement and
yeah,
break.
yeah, and then we'll break out of that one. Okay,
Yeah.
so here, okay, I'm getting this one. Okay, I'll just put like one more condition. If okay, if place dot equals, okay, place dot equals, if this is equals to, okay, break. That means if this place is equals to Krishnanagar, West Bengal, then break out of that one. Let us see if it is running correctly or not. Okay, so it matched this one and it came out of that one. Okay, that's why it is not going further. Okay, see it printing looking and it is printing count as 3 here because we came out of this loop on this one. Or if you don't know like the this full one, how do you do it? For example, I would like to just check it like with Krishnanagar. Okay, I can use dot contains. Okay, if place dot contains Krishnanagar, break. Right, instead of using equals method I can use contains method. Okay, and I can come out of that one. Okay, so you can use that also. Okay, so this is how we can use JavaScript executor. Just practice this one. Okay, it might be like a little bit confusing like initially, but practice in the beginning. Practice the JavaScript commands, like what are the JavaScript commands that I have told you. Practice those JavaScript commands and also practice these additional things like how to scroll how to scroll a web page to a particular position or to an element or to the bottom of the page or from the bottom to the top of the page. Okay, these are the only four that we have. One is to a particular position by number of pixels or to an element or to the bottom of the page or to the top of the page. Okay, so just practice like all these things and you will be fine. Okay, now let me, there is like one last topic. Okay, JavaScript executor interview questions here. Okay, what is a JavaScript executor? JavaScript executor is an interface that helps to execute JavaScript through Selenium WebDriver. Okay, so we have seen this one. This is an interface, right? We have seen this one. If you go into this, okay, so this is an interface. Basically JavaScript executor is an interface parallel to this WebDriver interface. Okay, it's an interface basically that helps to execute JavaScript through Selenium WebDriver. When do we use JavaScript executor? In Selenium, we use locators like ID, name, XPath, CSS, selector, etc. But sometimes these locators can't identify the elements. For example, in an auto suggest, the elements can't be identified. And in those cases, we use JavaScript to get the values from the elements. Okay, how to use JavaScript executor? First, we have to create an object for the JavaScript executor. We have JavaScript executor JS equals to JavaScript executor of driver, and then we use the execute script method on this object and we write the script here, JavaScript here. Okay, how do you get elements in a JavaScript? These are the method document or get element by ID, get elements by name, get elements by tag name, get elements by class name. How do you scroll the scroll bar in a in Selenium? If you want to scroll to a particular element into view, then arguments we use JavaScript executor, the JavaScript executor object dot execute script method, and then the script will pass arguments of 0 dot scroll into view, and this arguments of 0 is nothing but the element we have to pass it as an argument. Okay, if you want to if you want to scroll to the bottom of the page, you can use window dot scroll to and then 0 comma document dot body dot scroll height. Okay, if you want to scroll by particular number of pixels, we use window dot scroll by function and we use 0 comma that number of pixels. Okay, how do you input a text into a text box without calling send keys method? We can use JavaScript executor method. Okay, and how do we do it? We will find that element document dot get element by ID, that name, and value is equal to, we have seen this one in the console yesterday, we have practiced this one. The same thing we will use it in execute script method. Okay, just practice this one. How do we enter a value into a text box using JavaScript? Okay. So these are the interview questions basically on the JavaScript executor. Okay. So any questions on this one so far? Okay, fine. So there is one final one in this, which is tables, working with tables. I think like, we should have not these ones. Okay, we don't use like, these ones. Um, no, let's not use this one in our example page that I have given. Okay, let me go to the, I have closed this Chrome driver. Okay, Chrome driver. Okay, so we don't have like any link to this one. Just give me 1 second, guys. Let me go into this F drive, no, C drive, XAMPP, and then, sorry, htdocs. Okay, and then in the htdocs, I have Selenium practice and I have index. So in this index, I have a scroll table and I have tables. Okay, did I give links to anywhere like scroll tables or tables in this one? Okay, okay. I didn't give like any links to this one, but let me see. Index slash scroll table.html. Okay, so this is a scroll table that we have, and we have tables.html. Okay, these are multiple tables that we have. Okay, fine. Okay, that's fine. Like it's 7:48. I'll explain you this one topic on Monday. Basically, this is like, let's say like, we have tables like this. Okay, how do you get the values from the tables? Okay, let's say I want to get these values where the name is Venkat. Let's say the name is Venkat. Okay, I want to get all the values from these different rows. Like Venkat is there, okay, and Venkat is there here, and Venkat is there here again. Okay, I want to get all these values and I want to get a sum of these values, or if when the name is Suresh, or when the name is Rajesh, or I want to get like all where all the withdrawal type is cash. Okay, where all the withdrawal type is cash and I want to get a sum of that one. Okay, generally these are the kind of like a real-time issues that you will see. Okay, so you'll have a table and you have to get like all the values related to, so to a particular withdrawal type like cash, EMI, check, bank transfer, something like that. Okay, and you want to get like sum of like all these values. Okay, and there is, okay, and this is a big table. Okay, where okay, you have to scroll. Sometimes what happens is like, when you're trying to read the value from this one, it won't work because you have to scroll it. You have to bring that particular element into view. Okay, so this is one for this one, like, I have created like another table here. Okay, and there is another thing which is scroll tables. Okay, scroll table means this is a table basically, but there is a scroll bar here. This is not your browser scroll bar. This is the table scroll bar within the browser. Okay, so when you are like, because these are the real-time situations I have faced, like, when I was working on in my previous projects, where for example, I want to get the value, the amount here. This is the amount, right? I want to get this amount when the date is May 2021. Okay, but okay, it is here and that value is not visible here, so it fails. So first we have to bring that value into view, that May 2021. We have to bring it into view. Once we bring it into view, okay, then we have to use this one. we can get this value. Okay, so just for that example, okay, I have taken this one. Okay, you have to bring that value into view. Okay, so I'll tell you these ones on Monday. Okay, I think I have yeah. Once we cover this one, our Selenium core Selenium will be covered. Any questions so far? Did you guys understand this JavaScript executor? Everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, just it might be a little bit confusing initially. Okay, but just practice that one. Okay, once you practice that one, okay, the basic JavaScript commands. Okay, you'll be fine. Okay, so by Monday our core Selenium will be completed. Okay, this is the last one that is left, and then I'll start with, like, the Java remaining topics, like, I'll start covering them one by one. Okay, the extra topics that we have discussed, and also the page object model. Okay, we'll start with page object model, and also how to read the values from Excel. Page object model, like, it will become it will be covered quickly. Okay, and then I'll start with the Excel operations. Excel operations may take the whole class actually, because you have to understand how to get the data from the Excel sheets and all those things. And then we have TestNG. Maven, we'll see this one. We have already started creating the Maven projects and all those things. Okay, TestNG, it may take like around 2 classes actually, because it's a big one. You have to understand correctly and clearly, like, how we use TestNG for Selenium. Okay, and then we have log4j2, and then Jenkins, and then database testing, and then we have, like, frameworks. Okay, I will see a project here, and then we'll see okay, before this project itself, we'll see like how to use extent reports. Okay, after that we have like Selenium, BDD, and Git. Okay, we'll see that. Okay, fine. I think, like, we can complete
So
this one.
bro,
Yeah.
here Excel operations means in the background one HTML page you open, right? So
I'm
those
sorry.
kind of Excel photo you used to explain.
I'm sorry. What is that one?
Excel operations means in the background you open one HTML page, right?
Okay, yeah.
HTML in the page,
This
same
one.
page.
Yeah, yeah.
In that one, while we are doing the Excel operations, it will check whether the each cell value also.
Excel operations. No. See, Excel operations are used, like, to store the data, whatever the data that we enter. Okay, for example, let me show you this this one. Okay, HTTP colon localhost slash or rental slash admin. Okay, so admin test at the rate 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so you have to create a script where, like, you need to post a vehicle, multiple vehicles you have to post. Okay, so we enter, like, this vehicle title, and we select this vehicle brand, and we enter the overview, and we enter, like, the price and all these things, and finally we click on save changes. It will save a vehicle. But how do we, like, where do we store the data? Either we can hard code the data with for one vehicle, and you can create one script. Instead of that, like, you can save that data in an Excel sheet and read that data from the Excel sheet and enter that data. So those are the Excel operations I am talking about.
Okay.
Okay, but this one, this is whatever, like, you are seeing, this is different. These are tables in HTML. Okay, where it will show you, like, some data, and you may have to read the data from the tables. Okay, like, I want to get the amount where the name is Venkat, and where the name is Venkat, and the withdrawal type is check, and I want to get that amount. So here the name is Venkat, but here it is cash, so it's not this one. So let's go and set it. Okay, so the name is Venkat and the withdrawal type is check. Okay, so I have to get this data. Similarly, if I have anything Venkat EMI, so it's not there. Okay, and for example, if the name is Suresh and it is check. Okay, so it is Suresh and check and it is $1811.77. Okay, let us see like Suresh and check. Okay, so this is Suresh cash, Suresh bank transfer, Suresh check. Okay, so now I have to take these two things and I have to sum them up and I have to provide that result. You may face like these kind of things like in your real time. That's why I have created this one. So this is tables in the HTML. This is different from Excel operations. Excel operations are like you store the data in Excel, okay, and you use that data while providing the input in your web pages in your application. Okay, so that is done. Is that the question that you asked?
Yes, yes,
Is that one is Gautam, right? Gautam?
yes,
Or
yes.
yeah. So does this clear your question, or like is your question different?
No, no, it's clear. Clear.
Okay. Okay, fine. Any other questions? Anyone? Just practice this JavaScript executor and you'll find you may have to practice like a couple of times to understand this one exactly, like how this JavaScript executor works. But once you know that one, it will be easy. Okay. And in case in future, like if you get any new kind of like things where you have to work with the JavaScript, just go and search it in Google. For everything you will have a solution. All you have to know is how to use JavaScript executor. Okay. And for the new things, for example, you may have to click on a checkbox using JavaScript instead of okay using the click method. You may have to like use a JavaScript to click on a checkbox. So just go to Google and okay clicking a checkbox. Okay, clicking a checkbox using JavaScript. Okay, using JavaScript. Okay, so selecting all the checkbox, so you'll get like a lot of things. You can check or uncheck a checkbox with JavaScript. Okay, this is the one that we have. Okay, so if I click on this one, okay, see this is the option document dot get element by ID dot checked is equal to true. This is what like we have to use. Okay, so if we try the same thing in this one, for example, we have okay, we have this one. I want to check this one. Check this like I have a bike. Let me inspect this one to find the ID of this one. Okay, the ID is okay vehicle 1. Okay, this sorry, I don't have an ID, but I have a name here, vehicle 1. So how do I identify this element? Driver dot, so not driver, document dot get elements by name. Okay, what is the name here? The name is vehicle 1. Okay, vehicle 1, and I have to, and it's returning a list here, node list. Okay, and I would like to get the first value in this one, not and so 0 I have to use. Okay, see it is highlighting this value, so I got that element. Now I have to use the checked dot checked. Okay, equals to true. Okay, see once I press enter, it clicked that element. Okay, you got it. For example, similarly, if I want to check this like vehicle 2. Okay, vehicle 2, and then see vehicle 2 is selected. So like that, you just need to like search. You should know like how to search Google and how to test the code that you are getting like from the search engine, or you should also be able to change this one. Okay, slowly by practice you will get this. Okay, any questions?
Uh,
Any question? Yeah.
So, Subbu, we use console actually to test our code or Java methods, and then we use that
No, no, no,
in
not
our
the
Selenium or
yeah, not the Java methods, but JavaScript code. You can always test it from the console. Okay, see,
JavaScript.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, JavaScript code. This is what we do basically. Like, we'll take the code and we'll test it here first. Okay, in my previous project, like, there were like, a lot of times, like, I had to use these JavaScript functions. Okay, so every time I test it in the JavaScript console first to make sure that JavaScript code that I have written is working, and then I use it in the script. If I don't
Okay.
test it here, that will give us a lot of problem. If you directly use it in the script, we'll do a lot of mistakes basically. Okay, and the
Hmm.
script won't work. Again, go back and change the script. Again, go back and change the script. Instead of that, first test your code in this console. Once you
Hmm.
test your code in this console, okay, then you can use it in the in your script.
Right, please. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah. Any other questions, guys? Okay, yeah, fine. Okay, so then we'll talk again on Monday. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Subbu. Thank you,
Thank you.
Subbu.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye bye. Stop this recording. Stop.